30, I will call to order the Marathon County Public Safety Committee. It's Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 at 1:30. And first thing on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 3, public comment. Is there any public comment? Did we get any? Okay, no public comment. All right, move on. Approval of the May 6th, 2025 Public Safety Committee meeting minutes. I need a motion. Yee? Deb? Any comments or changes or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number 5, operational functions required by statute, ordinance, resolution, or policy. A, discussion and possible action by Public Safety Committee. B, discussion and possible action by Public Safety Committee to forward to the County Board for consideration. B1, resolution accepting comprehensive opioid stimulant and substance use program grant funds from the Department of Justice. Kyle, our DA, is going to do the presentation. Thank you.
There we go. Good afternoon. We are here. Luckily, this is somewhat of a review. Ruth Heinzel from my office came before this committee several months ago when we were applying for these grants and alerted the committee and got approval to apply for these grants. And we're now back hoping to receive the funds. So the state, it's a pass-through grant, so it's from the federal government through the Department of Justice, and then it goes to the Wisconsin Department of Justice, and then they had 10 different grant award possibilities. We put in for 2 of those and we got both of them. So it's 2 grants under the COSEP funding. It would to enhance and expand our deflection program that we are currently already up and running with, that is doing amazing work in the community with substance use and getting people into treatment more quickly. And Dana is here. She runs our deflection program if you have questions about the program. But these 2 grants would be to expand that program and the ability to serve more individuals because there is a definite need in our community with those. Dana works a lot with the downtown officers on our unhoused population, working with them in conjunction with Wausau Police Department to try and work on that issue as well. So that's what this resolution is for. It is a budget amendment. So I think Administrator Leonard can explain the process for that.
Sure. DMAO did a great job laying out kind of why it's before you. Essentially, it's because of your rules and state statutes relative to the amendment of the 2025 budget to formally receive the funds. So as you'll see from the resolution, it's a multi-year grant cycle, but you're only taking action to amend the 2025 budget. And just to tell you why, because that's a very good question. Well, why are we only addressing the 2025 budget? The short answer is we'll incorporate the receipt of those funds into the 2026 budget for the county board to consider with the formal budget proposal that comes forward in the next couple months. So happy to answer any questions, but this would, if you are in support of receiving the funds, a motion to recommend amendment to the 2025 budget to receive the funds and forward to the HR Finance and Property Committee would be the motion to make in that regard.
And there's one other comment I'll make is these are not matching grant funds. So there's no expense to the county. It's all money coming in from the state DOJ that would support this program. So it's not any funds that are being obligated from the county. It's all funds from the grant for this.
Just a couple questions. I read that it's going to be basically $700,000 over 2 years with an additional $300,000 extension opportunity. What happens after that then? Are we planning to budget that into the DA's budget, or are we planning to do levy increases? Just want some clarification because grants are obviously not continuous unless this is going to be a renewal grant moving in the future as well.
Okay.
So ultimately, that is a question for the county board. that's the direction you need to provide me and to DA Mayo as to how do you want to move forward. The short answer I always give relative to grant funds is that they give an excellent opportunity for piloting new programs to see the return on investment, for lack of a better term. But at the end of the day, as I say time and time again during budget time with the county board and throughout the rest of the year, you are the policy making body. You decide within the allowance of state law, what programs or services do we deliver? So this is not a mandated service. If this is something you want to fund post-grant, the county board needs to make that determination. And as is always the case, there's not enough dollars in our budget to do all of the things that everyone wants to do all of the time. So you need to make choices in terms of prioritization, but that's certainly something you'd want to look at from my perspective when you get to the perhaps year 2 of the grant cycle and really start planning for sustainability. And I think it would behoove us to work collaboratively and administration and the district attorney's office to identify what are those measures, key performance measures, and how are we measuring return on investment or community impact during the period of the grant. And then at the end of the day, that's a decision for the county board.
Follow up. So typically with, with the grants, obviously, it does incur some reporting that needs to be done back to the entity that awarded us this grant. And from what you expressed, it's really through the federal government here. So I'm kind of curious, is this going to add more workload to whoever is supervising this position in maintaining and the grant reporting the grant reporting of this grant specifically? And is there any indirect funds that's going to be coming in to pay for that supervisor's position for additional workload as well?
Ruth Heinzel does a lot of our grant reporting. We have other grants that she manages as well and works with her diversion team to do those reports and get those reported. So it'd be another one of those. Dana works on that a lot also with this grant. Now, if you want to speak to the reporting for your grant.
Sure. So the deflection specialist who would be included as part of this expansion would be responsible for keeping and tracking those performance metrics. And we work with the diversion supervisor to provide quarterly updates at stakeholder meetings, and we can provide additional information. So it's an expansion of the things that we're currently already doing well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Deb?
So do we get the whole 700 at one time, or do we get some each year
Believe
as it's received?
It's grant funds are normally, the traditional way they're handled is on a yearly basis. So whatever the term of the grant is, if it's a calendar year, you'd receive them in January. If it's operating off the federal budget cycle, that's a different timeline. State budget cycle is June and July, which again is why you're not having to amend, you're not having to formally take in all of the money at one time. We will do that in each of the respective budget cycles that the county operates under. So you want to operate under a calendar year budget cycle. So you'll take up the funds that you would receive in calendar year 2027, or excuse me, in 2026, in 2026 as part of the budget.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just one more question.
Go ahead.
This is a reimbursement style grant, is that correct here? Or is it a upfront grant?
Oh, much the fine-tuning finance. I believe it's reimbursement.
Okay, that helps clarify that. Thank you.
Anything else? So is this going through HR finance, or do we just goes right to
Tomorrow it's on the agenda for
Okay,
HR finance
okay.
as well, if it passes here.
So is there anything else anyone needs to discuss, or we need a motion then to recommend to accept the make resolution accepting comprehensive opioid stimulant and substance use program grant funds from the Justice Department, amending the 2025 budget?
So moved.
Is that Nick in second? Yee? Any more oh, you made the motion. I'm sorry. You made the motion and Nick seconded. Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, educational presentations and committee discussion, none. Next meeting time and date. Committee members are asked to bring ideas for future discussion. Next meeting is Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 at 1:30. And we need one more motion if you want to go home. Supervisor Zhang and Supervisor Deb. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. That was a nice short meeting.